Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog, so let's get to it. First story up, y'all stupid ass president and his racist tweets. Listen, I'm not even gonna sit here and act like I'm surprised, I'm shocked, I'm even offended, because y'all stupid ass president says what he says and does what he does, and he gets away with it. I am to the point where he can pretty much say and do whatever the fuck he wants to do, and nothing happens. Yes, people get mad. Yes, people get upset. Yes, people demand an apology, tell him that he needs to, take back his words. But does that even matter? Even if he did apologize, which won't be happening, even if he did take it back or even try to clarify what he meant, there's even no way to clarify what he meant. You guys, I'm so over it. I'm just so over it. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. The racist tweet that came on Sunday. Okay, so the Democrats have their own issues, right? There's infighting there. There are 4 women, freshman congresswomen, they call them, that are progressives. And they don't necessarily agree with some of the ways that Nancy Pelosi runs the Democrat House. So they're questioning her, they're going back and forth, they're having problems with Nancy, and then y'all stupid ass president inserts himself into the argument and says, and I quote, "So interesting to see progressive Democrat congresswomen who originally came from countries whose government are a complete and total catastrophe, the worst, most corrupt and inept anywhere in the world, if they even have a functioning government at all, now loudly and viciously telling the people of the United States, the greatest and most powerful nation on earth, how our government is to be run. Why don't they go back and help fix the totally broken and crime-infested places from which they came? Then come back and show us how it's done. These places need your help badly. You can't leave fast enough. I'm sure Nancy Pelosi would be very happy to quickly work out free travel arrangements." Oh my God, he's such a trigger for me. Like, he makes me so angry. And the only way to really protect my sanity is to not even deal with him. So fucking ignorant. And this is probably going to get me flagged. But I just got to say, he's just stupid. He's just a dumbass. And he says and does things, like I say, and gets away with them. Okay? Even had a rally yesterday. And, led his very ignorant but loyal base into saying, send her back. The 4 congresswomen that I'm talking about are Representatives Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, and Ayanna Pressley. Now, all 4 of these women are U.S. citizens. 3 of the women that I named were born and raised in the United States, okay? And the last, Omar, she was a Somalian refugee, came here with her family, and is a United States citizen. Obviously, she's a citizen, or she wouldn't even be a congresswoman. Them talking about the chant yesterday, he had mentioned Omar, and that was when they started up with this chant. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say about it. I just feel like if we can just get through this 4 and possibly 8 years, and I just act like he doesn't even, oh God, I don't know what else to say about him, you guys. He is stupid. But the scary thing about it is that he has riled up people who we've always known were racist. We knew racist was out there. Racism definitely exists. This country was built on the back of black people and the oppression that was pushed on them. So it'll never go away. But now he's emboldened these people, and it is just such a fucking shit show. It is just a fucking mess. And the more that I watch CNN, it gets on my nerves, because you would swear that nothing else happens in this world. If it don't have nothing to do with Trump, CNN ain't got shit to do with it. Okay? They don't fuck with no other story. It is Trump all day, every day. If anything, they have also boosted his his persona, if anything. You know, I'm so over it. I'm just over it, you guys. And yeah, we had to talk about it because that is the big story right now. But mark my words, nothing's gonna happen. Nothing's gonna happen. It's gonna be business as usual. So that's it. That's it with the politics. On with the rest. Guys, and since we already talked about being pissed off, let's talk about the decision that was made to not bring federal charges against the officer who put Eric Garner in a chokehold that ultimately cost Garner his life. Attorney General William Barr decided not to charge him, the officer, and there's some confusion within the Department of Justice because the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice felt that they should have charged the officer. So it's been 5 years. We've already reached the statute of limitations. I guess there will be nothing else that goes on with this case. However, what a slap in the face. I mean, we all saw the video where Eric Garner died, him saying that he could not breathe. And when you read up on the case, it's kind of all boiled down to semantics and really what was happening at the time that Eric Garner did die. So they're saying that this officer, I'm sorry, I did not get his name, but it's an Italian name. I want to say Pelosi, but that's not it. But anyway, the man that they're originally charging who put him in the chokehold, they're saying by the time he fell to the ground, by the time Eric Garner fell to the ground, he did not have him in a chokehold anymore. Then after he fell to the ground was when he said, I cannot breathe, I can't breathe. So now that he wasn't in the chokehold at the time that he said that he can't breathe, and maybe because you can't really talk when you're in a chokehold, but that's neither here nor there. Now they're saying that the chokehold is not what killed him, that instead he had an asthma attack. He then went into cardiac arrest and he died. Okay, now the medical examiner for the city of New York had already ruled it a homicide and said that the chokehold was the initial factor in the fact that the man did die, because if you wouldn't been choking the man, he wouldn't have had an asthma attack, and of course then he wouldn't have had this cardiac arrest. And you know, so I can see why the Civil Rights Division would say that there needed to be some charges filed, but from what I understand, the law always protects the police officer and not necessarily the citizen. Or it should say that it usually sways to the heaviest to the law, okay, or the police. They don't even like to press charges until they know that they can win this case and that it would not lose on appeal. All right, and I guess they didn't feel that that's what the case would be, so they decided not to press any charges. I think that it is a fucking travesty because we saw the video. The homicide was decided by the medical examiner and said right there, clear as day, okay, the man wouldn't be dead if you guys wouldn't be choking him. So frustrating. I feel really sorry for Eric Garner's family. His daughter, one of his daughters had taken on the cause and was fighting on his behalf, and she died from the strain, from the heartbreak, from the stress. So now his younger daughter has picked up the cause, and I'm worried for her. It is a lot to see this young girl on the steps of, New York City, the courthouse, yelling and screaming. She don't want an apology. Fire the fucking officer that killed her father. Okay, she's there for her father's grandchildren who will never see their grandfather again. She even said, you guys killed my sister, but you ain't gonna kill me. She gonna be here to do this fight. But she's so young, you guys. It is, it does make me proud to see a young black woman, so determined in this fight. But at the same time, I just be worried that the system is going to beat this girl down the same way that it did the sister, and, the same way that it did the daddy. And, I just hate to see this young girl live the rest of her life fighting for something that she might not ever get justice for, I know people will say you can't stop fighting, but man, it is just heartbreaking to see her up there on those stairs having to fight against a whole fucking system that is against you. So, but that is the case on the Garner case. The officer will not lose his job. As far as I know, I mean, I don't know why he would still want to be there. You know, I don't know how old he is, if he's retirement age or anything like that, but yeah, it's really a tragedy there. But that is the case. The officer will not be charged for Eric Garner's death. And none of the stories today is not, we ain't laughing today, y'all. Just letting you know that. Sadie Roberts-Joseph, she was a community activist and founder of Baton Rouge's African American Museum. Down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. She was found dead in the trunk of her car last Friday. The community was shocked, only because, you know, everyone knew her to be a woman of strength who was very active in the community. You know, she started this museum. Some people have even said that it was like her life's mission to open this museum. She started it because African American history wasn't being taught in the schools the way that she thought it should be, so she started this museum. So definitely a big figure within the community, and now she is dead. People started to worry that it was a hate crime. However, the DNA of 37-year-old Ron Jermaine Bell, his DNA was found on her body. And Ron was a tenant of hers. He stayed in one of her homes that she owned, her property, and they're saying that he was behind on rent, somewhere around 4 months. While they haven't said that this is a motive, I think that they are believing that this may have contributed to the fact that he killed her. They're saying that she was strangled, suffocated, and, you know, they have him on surveillance being in the area where her car was abandoned. And like I said, they have his DNA. Now, Ron was or is a registered sex offender. He violated his parole, so he had a warrant out for his arrest. And this was on a case where he served 7 years for sexually assaulting a nine-year-old girl. So he's out, he's violated, warranty out for his arrest, hasn't paid rent, killed the woman that owns the property that he was staying in, and now he has been arrested. Like I said, the city is very sick that they've lost this, you know, pillar of the community, but they are promising that they're going to put her legacy first. Yet and still, people are saying they're worried that the museum will shut down because she was largely, like 98%, responsible for the running of the museum. They're not sure who might take on that charge. So the killer has been found, and very sad story for the city of Baton Rouge. Rest in peace to Sadie Roberts-Joseph. So you know that R. Kelly was arrested last week. I think they said he was out walking his dogs and they pulled up on him and arrested that ass. Now they're saying that he will be held in custody and will stay there until his next trial date. You guys know he was charged 13 felony child pornography charges. 1 count of conspiracy to receive child porn, 2 counts of receiving child porn, 4 counts of producing child porn, 5 counts of enticement of a minor to engage in criminal sexual activity, and 1 count of conspiracy to obstruct justice. They're saying that he has been trying to recover these tapes that were turned in, some 20 videotapes of him having sex with underage women. They say that he has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years trying to get those tapes back, even had forced his employees to take lie detector tests because it seems that actually his ex-employees are the ones who turned in these tapes, but he wasn't able to get all of them, obviously. Why you would still have tapes when you knew that the tape was what got you in trouble to begin with? Why would you still hold on to these tapes for them to get out of your hands for somebody else? I mean, it makes absolutely no sense to me, but at any rate, the attorneys now have the tapes, and now they are not allowing him to leave jail. They're saying that he's a flight risk and that he is a serious danger to the community, especially young women who still seem to be enticed by them still wanting to be around Robert Kelly. So nope, he will be staying in jail until his next court date. And he sits in the Federal Metropolitan Correctional Center in Chicago. They say that he's in solitary confinement, and that next scheduled court date is September 4th. In the meantime, Joycelyn and Azriel, you know, the two girls that live there, his girlfriends, 23 years old and 21 years old respectively. We know all about them from the documentaries. They are still in the Trump Tower, you know, contrary to TMZ's story saying that they were evicted. They were temporarily put out so that the feds can get in there and raid the place, and you know, but now they are back in there, and they will at least be in there, I would assume, until the money runs out, or if he does indeed go to jail, you know, if he is convicted. But honestly, you guys, like, the sad part of that story is them girls ain't going back to their family. They are not going to go back to that family. They seem to hate their families, and people are saying that it's brainwashed. Whether it's brainwashed or not, they are not going to go back to their families, and they're old enough to make that decision. So I don't even know if the families are going to get the outcome that they would even like. I mean, I guess the parents are just wanting their children to be away from R. Kelly, but yeah, I don't know. The happy reunion with the family I don't think that that's what it's going to be. When the girls are saying that they're still provided for, they still come and go as they please, they move around in the apartment as they please, you know, and I guess they're holding it down until their boyfriend gets back from jail. So, I mean, that's it, you guys. I guess we'll see what happens. I don't believe that this time they're going to let Robert Kelly out or go. I think he is going to be convicted, especially when they pull out these tapes. I guess then the next argument will be whether or not they can prove that these girls were underage. I mean, and unless they look like babies, I mean, it is kind of hard to prove girls are young. We know what a prepubescent girl looks like, but we can't 100% without a shadow of a doubt say, oh, that girl is under 16 or whatever the age of consent is in that city. Okay, or that state. So I'm sure they're gonna still fight it. You know, he has pled not guilty, but I believe also that they do have R. Kelly in their crosshairs. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, he is in jail, no bond, and his girls are still in his apartment, safe and sound. All right, you guys. So Dwight Howard was on a Fox Sports sports show called Fair Game, and he was being interviewed. And they were asking him questions, and the questions got around to his personal life. Specifically, you know, they brought up the story about that story that went viral last year or so when there was a gay man by the name of Mason Elijah, I believe, who had said that him and Dwight had been having a relationship, and that, you know, Dwight had been harassing him and had threatened him and manipulated him and did all of these things to him. So when he tried to out him, and then, you know, Dwight was trying to say that it wasn't true, then Mason went on to file court case. So now there's a court case that's going on against Dwight Howard in this whole case because the guy said that he was harassed. Well, Dwight Howard said in the interview after the story went viral, you know, he was very depressed and he didn't want to come out of his house because, you know, this guy is saying that he's gay, and Dwight Howard, for all intents and purposes, says that he is not gay. Okay, he said that the story was liberating after a while, after he thought about it, because, you know, he just saw how much people hate. They throw out such mean words and say such mean things to people just because they may be gay, and he saw the hate that, you know, folks have, that made him free, and that he now wanted to live his life where he couldn't worry about what people thought about him. And the reporter, the interviewer, was like, so you're not gay? Because it was very confusing what he was saying. He was saying he was liberated and he was free, and I thought, well, okay, is he about to come out? Because there's been a lot of stories about Dwight Howard possibly being gay. But he said, no, he's not gay, but he feels free and he feels liberated. But then also within the interview, it just got real confusing to me, in my opinion, and I may 100% be wrong, but if Dwight Howard is gay, then Dwight Howard is gay. I don't care. Okay, obviously it's a difference for him. You know, he's a black man, basketball player, you know, this whole masculine thing where they're saying, you know, sports players, you know, don't necessarily want to come out as gay because now that threatens their job and what they do and around the other men, and all you guys know all of the stuff that goes along with that. But I feel sorry for him because I really feel like he's conflicted. I mean, I can't say that he is gay, you know, but it just seems like he's still in this trying to decide what he is, you know, because he was like, you know, I'm still trying to figure out, you know, like what I am and what I want to do and all that. I was just like, well, what is it, Dwight? Now just come on out and say it. I mean, he did say I'm not gay, so I guess we can only go by that. But I don't know. That's all I'm gonna say is I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Did you guys see that interview? Wasn't it confusing, or was it just me? Did I misunderstand what was going on there? Maybe you guys can clarify for me if I did get it wrong. Moniece Slaughter's interview on Hollywood Unlocked. So I don't follow Hollywood Unlocked because Jason Lee is not my favorite person. However, the last couple of interviews that I've seen Jason Lee do have been cool. I feel like he's a good interviewer. This interview, while it was very long-winded, Moniece is long-winded and takes a long time to explain her point. I can still say that it was a very good interview, and it made me look at Moniece. I could tell that Moniece was coming around from her last season on, what was it? So I guess it was not counting Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, because that was bullshit. But you could tell that she was working on herself the last time she was on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. Okay, just trying to be in control of herself and not necessarily exuding the old Moniece where we was all just like she's a crazy bad mom and all of that. Okay, so I could tell that that's where she was, and then in this interview you could tell that she's done a lot of the work to try to change herself on the inside. I used to think that it was cliche before I had children when people would say things like, you know, I want to make sure that I do this, that, and the other for my kids. I don't think people understand how it feels to want to be a good role model or just have something that your children can look up to until you have a child. Once you have a child and you realize that they are watching, then that does change your perspective on a lot of things. And what I can appreciate about Moniece is she has done the work and she is trying to change. I'm all for, I don't care how fucked up a person has been in the past. I will give a person a chance to change if they are sincere and if they are, you know, serious about doing what they need to do that. And I feel like that's where she is. Because I feel like the old Moniece and a lot of those situations that she was talking about, now she's still petty. Okay? She still has her pettiness in her, but things that she doesn't have control over, you know, for example, you know, I can tell that she's really trying to make sure that she doesn't let that get her riled up in a place where she doesn't represent herself well, you know, and she wants to be a better person for her child. I think that's commendable. The interview was really good. Found out a lot of stuff that was going on. You know, they did touch on her relationship with Fizz. Well, didn't touch on it. They talked about it quite a bit. Her relationship with Fizz, which doesn't seem to be in the best place. You know, they got a lot of drama. You know, Fizz and April's relationship has really thrown a wrench into that program, even though Fizz and April will go back and forth whether or not they're together or not. You know, I guess they're trying to, I know that Fizz and April are also trying to drum up, you know, hype around Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, their return to the shows. But in real life, you got to remember that Moniece and Fizz have a child together, and so their real life is affected, and then it carries over into the reality show. But anyway, I just loved hearing her speak. I think she expresses herself extremely well. Okay, and I just could appreciate the interview. You know, I was annoyed about the whole story with Tank. I never really saw the full interview with Tank in Hollywood Unlocked, but I've never been a Tank fan, and I've told you guys that plenty of times. Okay, with his seeming self, everything is like this. Like, I always got to be looking up his nose. And then will you put a fucking shirt on, for crying out loud? Walking around here singing with these tight ass suit pants on, and that's it, greased up, and child, too much. But once she really explained her side of the story, I was just like, you're right. You know, and then when I did see the clips of Tank's story, you know, Tank being on Hollywood Unlocked and, you know, them all laughing and giggling about the shit that happened. I mean, we all love a good story, But when Moniece was able to give her side, then you realize that, yeah, okay, maybe that wasn't the best way to, maybe that wasn't cool for us to all find pleasure in that story. Okay? He's a fuck nigga, you guys. He's a fuck boy. I ain't never seen it for Tank. He's very talented, and I'll give him that, but no. Getting back to the interview, though, with Moniece. Yeah, I'm here for Moniece. Okay? I hate that she was on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, because that was bullshit, and we all saw that. Okay, and that definitely was a step back. Like, you really thought that you were about to go somewhere with Showing Up Scrap. You really thought that this was a real relationship, that, you something you can build on. Okay, that right there lets me know that maybe you still got some things that you need to deal with, as far as your judgment and what you think and is and isn't real. But we've all been a sucker, and we've all fallen for some guy that wasn't the best for us. I mean, I'll give her that, but as you get older, you're gonna have to get a little bit more discernment about yourself, because you can't be wasting that kind of time, but then that also would probably have something to do with Mona. Y'all know that bitch Mona, always coming up with some shit. I know Moniece has been really trying to get off of that show, and she's stuck in a contract, so I'm sure that she's, well, let me do this show, and let me do, Love and Hip Hop Hollywood maybe this last season, and I think maybe that might be it for her, if she is even coming back this season. I think she is, but I don't know that for a fact. But yeah, you guys did ask me to talk about April, and I don't really want to talk about April no more. Her and Fizz are together. Now, they can go back and forth and say they are and aren't, her saying that, he's deserving of her puss, and all of that. I'm sure we'll see all of it play out on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, but I'm done really kind of talking about April. She's only getting into the story because she's a byproduct of Moniece's story. All right? But, yeah, that's it. Did you guys hear the Hollywood Unlocked interview? It was 2 parts. Like I said, she's very long-winded. And but she expresses herself well, and I really like the fact that she's doing the work to make herself a better person. So that's it. Tell me what you thought about the interview, though. Alright, you guys, and then lastly, in quickies. Okay, so how many of you guys downloaded the Face app and got a good little giggle off of what you would look like in 50 years? If you did, you have now given your image to a Russian-based company who many are worried, at least the Democrats are worried, that they could be selling your images or using your images or giving your images to foreign governments. They're saying over 150 million people downloaded the app. And who knows, the app could just be a fun little app, a cute little ditty where, you just look at your pictures, or it could be something serious, more sinister. So now they're asking the FBI to get involved and investigate this Russian-owned app, and see if there's something else that they should be worried about as far as that app is concerned. But 150 million images, that is a whole lot, and that is something to be concerned about. But right now they're saying, don't be doing the damn Face app. Don't be loading no pictures and shit. Don't do it. People were upset that She's Gotta Have It was canceled on Netflix after the 2nd season. I was surprised that it even got a 2nd season. I told you guys that I thought the 1st season was just whatever. I was not impressed because I felt like it was dated. Like the stuff that happened in She's Gotta Have It, the movie, when it originally came out, yes, that was groundbreaking because, she was this unapologetic, strong, black, bisexual woman, lived her life the way that she wanted to, taking charge of her body, and if she wanted to have more than one lover, okay, that was fine. But that was back in the 80s. When we come to 2018, that is what everybody is doing. So it didn't seem like, to me, it was anything that I felt was, I didn't get the whole feeling. I mean, I enjoyed the fact that it was an all-black cast, and it was Spike Lee made, and it was quirky, and it had all of its Spike Lee-isms in it, but as far as the show, it was just okay to me. I tried to watch part of the 2nd season. I think I got through the first 2 episodes, and I was just like, nope. Okay, didn't watch anymore, and now they're saying that it was canceled. Does not surprise me. Are you guys upset about it, though? Did you watch the show? Did you enjoy it? Megan the Band is coming back. For anybody that cares. I didn't know people still cared. To me, Megan the Band is a classic that shouldn't be done again. Okay, I don't even know how authentic and genuine it'll be compared to the original show. You know, everything reality now is so created. You know, I don't know if you can get back that old thing, but you know, Puffy says it's coming back. It's coming back to MTV. So if you guys are interested in watching, it should be back soon. I think they're starting this whole nationwide search to bring people to the house and all of that. So if you're interested, y'all look up old Puffy and see what the hashtag is and upload y'all talents. Okay, I'm more concerned about the fact that they're saying that he's dating Lori Harvey, which I don't really believe. I think that this is some sort of publicity stunt. I sure hope it is. He's 49, she's 22. He's friends with Steve Harvey. I'm sure it's on some level, and you could possibly be fucking your friend's daughter who just became legal a year ago. Well, I guess if you count 18, but still, you guys, it's concerning to me. There's been whispers around that them two was messing around, but I honestly didn't believe it. But, and I still don't believe it, because if you're messing around and you know that people are going to have some issue with the fact with the girl being so young, you wouldn't go to Nobu, okay, because they were seen at Nobu in Malibu, which is paparazzi all over the place. So obviously they wanted to be seen, but they've also been seen other places and looked like they were trying to keep some sort of low profile. So I don't know. I kind of have a feeling that they're trying to play the public, but I sure don't want to see Diddy's old ass with that young ass girl. It's disturbing to me, you guys. Are you guys going to go see Lion King this weekend? I am. Me and Mister, we already got our tickets. We'll be seeing it on Saturday. And I'm looking forward to the movie. I have not seen Beyonce. I'm probably the only person that hasn't seen her new video. I've seen clips of it on Instagram. I just ain't been in the mood, you guys. But from what I saw, the video looks beautiful and it's very Beyonce-like. And I do see the pretty still picture of Blue Ivy, so she must be in the video too. But I haven't got around to seeing the video. I'm sorry, you guys. I am excited about the movie and everybody who's in the movie, not necessarily just Beyonce, but I am hoping that Beyonce does well, as well as everybody else. I want this movie to be a success for Disney, because Lion King as a whole is a story, is a classic that deserves to be on such a grand scale. Okay, so I wanted to do well, and I will definitely be supporting and being there on Saturday. And I'll let you guys know. I'm not doing no review or nothing, but I'll let you guys know what I thought about the movie and how everybody did. And congratulations are in order to When They See Us. They have garnered 16 Emmy nominations. This is the most ever for any Netflix series. The nominations include Outstanding Limited Series, Outstanding Writing for a Limited Series. Actor Jarrell Jerome, he was nominated for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Limited Series. Niecy Nash and Ajahnay Ellis, I believe that's how you say her name. They're both up for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Limited Series, and Ava DuVernay was nominated for Outstanding Director. The kid that was nominated for Lead Actor, he is related to Samira Wiley. You know, she is from The Handmaid's Tale, the black girl on there, also from Orange is the New Black, if you guys used to watch that show. Okay, she's related to him. I think that's her cousin or her nephew or something like that. So congratulations to everybody. I still haven't had the strength to watch When They See Us, but I might be ready. And then lastly, you guys, so I was all set to come on here and tell you guys about the new James Bond woman that was hired for the next James Bond movie. Yesterday, when I asked for suggestions for top of the blog, somebody told me that the new James Bond was going to be a woman and that her name was Lashana Lynch. And I laughed to myself. I was like, Lashana Lynch? I said, ain't that something? The white girl has a black girl's name. I mean, I was so convinced that Lashana Lynch was still white. So today, when I'm doing my little research for this, I'm pulling it up on Google, and I'll be damned if Lashana Lynch ain't no exotic or no white girl, but instead is a black woman. And child, you could have knocked me over with a fucking feather. I was like, what? All of that grief that they was giving Idris Elba about James Bond, okay, they done took a way bigger leap of faith. And I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. But they have jumped over having a black man as James Bond and actually changed the whole gender, okay, to Jamisha Bond. is Lashana Lynch. Now, if you guys know that name, it might be because you remember her from Captain Marvel. She was the black girl who was the best friend of Captain Marvel in the movie, who was like the badass tech, knew everything that had to do with the ships and all of that. You guys remember her? Okay, that's the girl that is going to be playing James Bond. So you're for real, true blue black girl. I don't know if there's been much pushback around it, or if people are upset about it, if they just distracted with all the other bullshit that's going on in the world that they ain't had time to fuss about it. But y'all, I don't even have a couple white people tears for you today, because really nobody has seemed to been upset about this. I'm just like, wow, that is... I know that's right. Y'all better get that girl that... Man, what? Y'all, we gonna give her the fist pump of righteousness for that black girl magic. Congratulations to Lashana. I am really, really pleased by that. I want to see how this is gonna go down, you guys. And as usual, I'm just gonna throw that black girl magic out at you like that. You ain't gonna keep on. You just ain't gonna get enough of us. Now, are you? Child, I'm late. Lunched and ran a little long, so let me get off of here. We do this every single week, so make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Until next time, rock stars. Bye.